Muy bien, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm going to share my screen to show you guys' homework. Give me a second. Here we go. And again, it's about the adjectives, los adjetivos that we've been working on, right? There's 15 questions, as you can see, but I'm going to go ahead and do the first two or three with you, just so we can do them together. And I'm actually going to record this, guys, just so in case you forget how to do it, you can always go back to this video. It'll be on Schoology. I'll post it on there, and it'll show you the same video you guys are watching. And in case you forget on how to do them, okay? So let's do number one together, okay? Here, let me zoom it in so you guys can see it better. And let me write on it as well. Let me annotate. Let me add that feature on here. Okay, here we go. There we go. Muy bien. Here we go. Let's do number one together, okay? So we have number one, la escuela no es, and then we have a blank, and in parentheses, as you can see, you have your adjective. In this case, it's pequeño. Again, these vocabs should look very familiar because they are still from chapter one, right? We have not done our next chapter for our next vocabulary list. So they are going to be the same vocabulary words we have been using, okay? So we have pequeño here, right? That means small. La escuela no es blank. And we're supposed to fix, if needed, the adjective pequeño. We need to fix that ending, right? So what do we need to do first? We need to go to the article, right? El artículo, la. La, we need to figure out if it's singular, if it's plural, and if it's feminine or if it's masculine. So we do that by, of course, right, going to the article and going to the noun. In this case, we have la escuela, right? La is telling us that it's feminine, right? Escuela, you see the ending on escuela with the A. Always said the rule is, right, if it ends with an A, it is automatically a feminine word, right? So that's why we have to use la, because if it was masculine, we would use el. So in this case, we have la escuela. So there's step one. We figured out that it's feminine, right? Now we need to figure out if it's singular or if it's plural, right? If it's more than one or is it just one? La escuela, the school. It's telling us you don't see any S's here, right? The same rules with the S in English fall with Spanish, right? Remember that? So if you see no S here, that means it's just one, right? And in this case, on number one, it's just one. There's no S. We have la escuela. So there we go. Now we figured out that it's feminine and that it is singular. La escuela. Now we can go ahead and go to our adjective and fix the ending if needed. So we have pequeño. The ending is an O, right? So if we have that O, that tells us it is masculine. Again, we cannot put a masculine adjective when it has a feminine noun, right? They both have to match each other. So if the noun is feminine, your adjective needs to be feminine. If your noun is masculine, your adjective needs to be masculine. If your noun is plural or singular, your adjective needs to be singular or plural, right? So in this case, we have pequeño. We need to get rid of that O, right? And make it into a feminine and put an A on it, right? As we saw, it's singular, so we do not need to add an S. So once we get rid of that O and we add an A, that is all we need to do for number one, right? So let me write it here. It's a little hard to write here. Pequeña with an A. La escuela no es pequeña. The school is not small. Okay? Let's continue with number two. Let's do number two together. So number two, we have la escuela es, and then blank, right? And then our adjective in parentheses is telling us that it's grande, right? What is the rule when we have an E for our adjective? That means when we have an E, it's either masculine or it's both. You don't need to change it to an A or an O or need to change it at all. You leave it as it is. When if your adjective ends with an E, just like number two, grande, you leave it alone. The only thing you will need to add is an S if your noun and your article are plural, correct? Right? Because they have to match. So we have la escuela es. So let's figure out if it's talking about, again, one school, escuela, or it's talking about multiple. La escuela. Almost a similar example as number 1. So in the first example, we figured out that it's singular, right? Well, in this case, it doesn't change either. It's literally talking about one school, right? La escuela. We don't see any S on there. We don't have las escuelas. We have la escuela. So it's going to be singular. So that means our adjective grande, which means big, right, stays as is, right? So we're going to put it right in that spot where it's blank and type in or write in grande and leave it alone because it is singular. So if it was plural, if your article la and escuela were plural, right, and had an S on there, then you would need it to add an S, right? La escuela es grande. If it was plural, it would say las escuelas son grandes. Muy bien, muy bien. So now let's go to number 3. We'll just do this last one together, okay? So in this one, we have las clases no son blank. And our adjective in parentheses is pequeño again, okay? Now it's pequeño. Las clases no son pequeño. So that's our adjective. Now let's figure out and go back, right? Our adjective doesn't end on an E. So now we need to go back and figure out if it's singular, plural, and masculine or feminine, right? Our article and our noun. Nuestro artículo and sustantivo. So we have las. Las is telling us that it is feminine, right? Clases have that S on there, right? Already letting us know that it's more than one. It's more than one class. Clases, right? It's not clase, it's clases, more than one. And your article, las, has that S on there as well, telling us that it's more than one class. Las clases, right? So now let's figure out if it's feminine or masculine. Our las, our article, is feminine, right? We have clases, that's going to be feminine as well, right? The ES ending that we learned about our noun. So when we have a feminine and a plural noun and article, that means our adjective needs to be feminine and plural, right? So we need to get rid of that O, right? Always get rid of that O. And we need to add that AS ending, right? Our feminine and plural ending for our adjective, because our article and our noun are feminine and plural. So, like I said, we get rid of that O and we would write las clases no son pequeñas, right? That AS ending, pequeñas, okay? Muy bien. And we're gonna stop right there, and you guys are gonna do 4 through 15 for homework, okay? We just did the first 3 together, and like I said, I am going to post it on Schoology, this video, guys, so in case you need to go back and look at it and see how we all did it together, it's gonna be on there, okay? Does anybody have any question?